All right, artists, we are continuing working on our pinch pot. So if you need some time today to finish your pinch pot, kind of smooth it out, you have that time. You can go through and kind of get any imperfections or any lumps. You can kind of start to smooth those out. I do still have mine filled with newspaper, and I have some more paper under it so that it holds its structure, because mine's still a little bit softer than I would normally like before I move forward. But I do want to show you guys something else real quick. Here is a pinch pot that I did quite a while ago. I did add feet to this one. I'm going to show you how to do that today too. But just so you can see kind of what they look like, this is it from the side. If you like, I personally really like all the dents and imperfections in it. This is how I have all of my dishes at home. It kind of has that texture of like something that is handmade, where we feel the different parts where like I did pinch it. It's totally up to you if you want that texture or not. I personally like it, but again, up to you. You can see that this is the same kind of clay, but it's a very different color because this one is completely dried out. This one's been sitting for about a month, and this one's ready to go into the kiln. So I just want to show you guys that as an example of things that I do make at home. So we're learning two different techniques on how to add texture. Texture is how something feels, and usually when we talk about texture in art, we talk about how something looks like it feels. We look at texture that you know is there. So if someone does a painting of a horse, and we can kind of see the texture of the hair, but if you were to actually touch that painting, which you should definitely never do, but if you were gonna go touch it, it'd be rather flat. But when we're talking about clay, we can actually add actual texture. So the other one's called implied texture, and this is actual texture. So the first way we can do it is using things like our carving tools. Now, I know you guys might not have these ones yet, and like I said, you're gonna get smaller ones, but when you do get them, you can do things like actually carve away at pieces, and you can see you can start to get that texture. You can carve away all different kinds of ways, right? It creates a texture. You can also use things like our wire tools. These are not great at pulling clay away. This is a subtractive method that we're talking about because I'm removing clay away. So, right, I'm removing clay. You can't do that quite as well with these loop tools, but you can do some dents, and you will take away some clay for that. Again, this is all subtractive methods. I'm denting into it. You can also add texture with your pin tool. For this one, we can actually poke into. Just make sure you don't go all the way through, or else you're gonna have holes coming through, right? You can even drag it across to create texture. And even though we use our toothbrush for slipping and scoring, that can also add texture too. You can see when we wipe that away, that's going to create its own texture. It's a little bit more of a smooth texture, but you can do that. Now, any of these textures you create, if you don't like them, you can absolutely get rid of them. And last, I'm going to show you with your felting knife. This one you can actually cut into, like I showed you guys briefly in the other video. Cut into your clay, so we have this texture of like the cut. You can make marks in it, or you can even use this to press into and make those dents. You can even carve out pieces if you want holes that come out. But this is all subtractive methods because we're actually removing the clay.